What looked bold last autumn is starting to look a little bit predictable. Teams have clocked our wing-back behaviours, keep the ball on one side, try and lock that wide lane, pin the wing-back to the touchline, and then spring down our vacated channel. The result? United's wing-backs look disjointed and rigid, and our front line gets starved of high-quality service. So, why is this happening? In Amorim's 3-4-3, you need wing-backs that can defend 1v1 and then produce winger-level output. You're thinking Davies, Frimpong, Grimaldo. Profiles of players that give you width, cutbacks, and then weak-side runs. Our current pool is lighter on the final third end product. We also have a left-side bias. Dorgu is a promising left-back. He is learning the left wing-back craft in real time. What he has is top-level physicality, dynamism, athleticism. What he lacks is polish when it comes to his offensive output. He will get results because defensively he can be solid. Offensively, he can force the issue a little bit, and his pace will give him openings that his skill quite hasn't matched just yet. And he might get there in time with the right coaching. His habits, though, the check back, the recycle, the protect, the rest defence, they're still being worked on. They're generally sensible, but they do slow the left lane down a little bit, and they make us sometimes easy to read. The right side is more uncertain. Rotation and injuries and, pretty average performances on the right-hand side have flipped that channel to be a bit more of a conservative role, or it's Ahmad who's still learning the offensive wing-back role. Is more of an attacker moonlighting, if you like. So we either have security with no final third output, or we have the final third output who's basically playing a player inside him that mirrors his own movements because, they have very similar characteristics. And there's gaps in behind. We don't get both in the same game, certainly out the same player. Service patterns to the 9 are undercoached. Sesko thrives on 3 deliveries. An early low cross from the inside right-hand lane, near post flashes, and stand-ups to the back post. As a tall striker, those are what he feasts on. We don't hit those patterns anywhere near often enough, or with the right timing. So the consequences. The front three compress centrally to find the ball, the pitch shrinks, the counters hurt more often because our rest defence is stretched sideways instead of forward. There's less quality supply, which exposes the finishers, not creators. Sesko looks isolated, and Mbuemo receives the ball to feet, not in front of him. Cunha ends up carrying the ball from far too deep rather than having to beat 2 or 3 players on his way to the area he would like to receive the ball, whereas if he got the ball where he would like to receive the ball, he beats 2 or 3 players he's having a shot. Tweak in the difference. We're not asking him to make... or we shouldn't be asking him to beat 3 and 4s. You're asking him to beat 1s and 2s and deliver a shot. But he's having to come back, win the ball, beat 1s and 2s, and then he's still got 1 and 2 left to beat. So how do we fix this? I think we go asymmetrical by design. Rather than trying to have a perfectly symmetrical system that looks perfect on both sides, maybe what we do is we push down one side more than the other. Let's go with Ahmad and Dorgu as our wing-backs. Let's go with Ahmad on the right, Dorgu on the left. Let's ask Dorgu to play almost like a left-back. Mazraoui, as we've sort of talked about, pushes into midfield a little bit, giving us that sort of almost number 6. And you push Ahmad on so he can go and occupy that high line, pushing Mbuemo over just a little bit. Now, Mazraoui stepping there is perfect. Later, when it comes to Martinez, he could step into midfield with the ball. This is important. With the ball, he could come and do that. And it's asymmetric on purpose. It gives us someone at the back that's more defensively minded and is able to help us win the ball back. And it pushes someone further forward and almost takes away their responsibilities of defending on the right-hand side. And it just allows us to just be a little bit different. Or you could just flip it a little bit. When the ball is on the left-hand side, ask Ahmad to just tuck in. When the ball's on the right-hand side, just ask Dorgu to tuck in. I think that alone would just clog up the areas just nice and little bit, because very rarely are we going all the way down and switching it from right to left. So why do we need the left wing back in the final third near the byline when we're about to cross the ball? Doesn't make any sense, that to me. We don't need all 5 of our players to be in the final 10 metres of the pitch, occupying each of those 5 zones. You've got to assume at that moment, when we've penetrated that high up the pitch, if the ball is with Ahmad in the right wing spot, he's got Mbuemo inside him, Sesko around the penalty spot, Cunha can be the one sweeping up at the back post. If Dorgu tucked back 10 yard, maybe even came into the left half space a little bit, that's going to give you a nice rest defence. If you lose the ball there, and let's be honest, what's happening in that situation? When the ball is on the right-hand side of the pitch, right there, in this situation, what is going to happen? You're probably going to score, or you're getting countered. Right? So as the ball is delivered there, it's either a goal, and in which case, buzzing, or you lose the ball, and you're having to defend. Rarely does the ball go all the way out and just end up being recovered on that left-hand side. And guess what? If it goes into no man's land over on that side, go get it. I just think the start positions can be just, again, adapted a little bit, and that's on the manager. Second, rebuild the delivery menu for Sesko. Coach 3 repeatable patterns. Get to the half space and hit an early cross. Get to the byline and stick one across the near post. And then get to the byline and stand one up towards the back post. Work on those. Hang crosses in the air for him. He's going to be up against a fullback at the back post, and it's a mismatch straight off the bat. And then we're too patient. If you're switching it, you've got to switch it quickly. Get it out of the danger area, move it left or right, get it out of your feet, play on 2-touch and move the ball forward. 4, clarify the role for the 2 in midfield. When I spoke to the gaffer in the summer, he said he wants to play more like a 6 and an 8. To everyone's mind, a 6 is going to be a holder, someone that's going to anchor the midfield, screen for counters, and be the second passer. The 8 is the connector, the one that gets to push in a little bit more. That's his own words, join the attack a little bit. Straight out of the manager's mouth to that ear right there, that's what he said, to join the attack a little bit more. Okay, live between the lines then. Play the third man bounce pass. Find the wing backs. Arrive in the box looking for cutbacks. If Bruno's going to do that, let him do that. But he's also going to have to do the other side of the game when we don't have the ball. And maybe you can help him by having one of the wing backs tuck, the far side wing back tuck, when we don't. And 5, the rest defence triggers. We got to stop both pivots pressing at once. Yeah? I know Rio talked about having the far side centre back come and join, step into that 6 lane on losses. Yes, if you're playing up against one striker, but if you've got 2 or 3 on you, you can't do that. So stop it at source a little bit more. 1, press, and if it's going to be Bruno, let him press, but let him press on his own. And tell him his job is to delay. You don't need to win the ball every single time you press. Just go and engage. Engage and slow them down. Let the 6 kind of figure out the space in between, and then we can defend as a unit. I think adaptability is the key here. I wonder if we're not fully playing to our potential just because of little tweaks that we could make. I also think that there's ways that we can use those wing backs a lot more effectively than we are doing, and having them press. A little bit like what we see with Crystal Palace and the way they deploy them. I don't think you're going to get another wing back. I think they're going to persist with Dorgu and Ahmad for the foreseeable future. And I think Delo and Mazraoui as sort of backups to those is probably seen by the club as okay for now. We don't need to abandon the 3-4-3. I think the shape it gives you with the ball can be very good. But we've got to introduce some asymmetry by design. I think we've got to introduce some pragmatism with our rest defence, and we have to coach the delivery patterns. And don't get me started on set plays. We have to coach some delivery patterns for the 9 to get the best out of him when we do that. Do that, the front three stop starving, the goals return, and we don't concede as many. If only it was that simple. But let me know in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.